Hello and welcome to another episode of Box Trick. Guys, today we are taking a look at the new Pocket Go from Retro Mini. They had released one of these a couple months ago. It was quite a bit smaller. This one here is roughly about the size of a Game Boy Advance. Adds a analog stick here, I think kind of similar to the PSP or the 3DS. And certainly allows for some PlayStation games, has a better processor than that one had, and certainly a much larger screen. So on the top, you've got a USB-C charging port, which is really nice because at this point, just about everything uses USB-C. The Switch does, most phones do that aren't iPhones. Headphone jack, volume rockers, shoulder buttons. Really nice D-pad. I really enjoy this D-pad. 4 face buttons, some menu buttons here. One speaker, which is probably my only kind of downside, I would say, to this device, is just the placement of the speaker. I don't mind that there's only one, but sometimes when you hit the B button here, you can kind of cover it up. But I want to go ahead and take a look at some of the games. Powered on right there. So you go over here to emulators. You've got MAME, DOSBox, FBA, which Final Burn Alpha, some more arcade type games, NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, 2 Genesis ones, and I think I kind of prefer the Pico one myself, Pico Drive. PlayStation, which actually plays pretty well, Game Boy Advance, Neo Geo, WonderSwan. So let's go ahead, take a look at NES. I think it handles the NES just perfectly, really. Let's go ahead and fire up something. Tecmo Super Bowl. Turn up the speakers here. I think the speakers on the speaker on this is really nice. I gotta say. Let's pick. We'll pick the Dolphins. Turn the speakers all the way up so we can kind of hear what that sounds like. Jesus. Well, unfortunately, I'm not showing you the best Tecmo Bowl gameplay, but certainly some NES gameplay here. Well, I don't know where Dan Marino's throwing the ball there, but there's certainly some Tecmo Bowl footage. Let's go ahead and we'll just pick Super Mario Brothers 3. Turn that down just a little bit. But I really got to say, the D-pad I find really quite comfortable here. Really no lag, no screen tearing I haven't seen. I know that was kind of an issue with the earlier Pocket Go. Not as fast of a refresh screen, but I think the screen here looks really good. It's really nice. Quite comfortable. And battery life, I have to say, it's been pretty decent. I don't know what the exact hours on it are, but I've certainly had pretty decent battery life. Now, this did come loaded with some ROMs, and I should say also, I think I bought this for roughly, actually I have the website pulled up here, roughly is around $65, and took a little over a month to ship out from China. Let's go play some Genesis here. Let's go play some Road Rash. But yeah, I have zero issues with this system, and just in terms of frame skip or anything. I've seen some people say that perhaps that on the PlayStation they've had issues, but we'll kind of jump into that. Really love the Road Rash series. I kind of wish they would bring it back. There was that there's that game on Steam, and I know it was ported to Switch and some other things. That was kind of like a Kickstarter, I think, version of it. It wasn't necessarily all that good, but yeah. So even a game like this runs kind of fast, zero kind of issues, no need for frame skip. So kind of there's some maybe pick one other kind of game here to show off the. Yeah, Sonic obviously runs great. You're not going to have any issues running anything certainly before you get to about PlayStation. Super Nintendo, we'll fire that up. Let's go with Rock and Roll Racers. Great game, actually made by Blizzard back when they were making things other than World of Warcraft and Overwatch. Yeah, just actually a really great game. Kind of a hidden gem on the Super Nintendo. If you've never played it, you are certainly missing out. Yeah, you can see here, this is where you kind of run into that issue where you can cover up the speaker. Oh. You're kind of stuck there. Okay. Now let's go. I'll take a look maybe at Game Boy Advance. Now this one I had, and it's just this emulator. There is, it kind of puts a screen. I mean, something I can jump into here. We'll do Super Mario. We'll do Super Mario 3 again, the Game Boy Advance version of it, which is a kind of more enhanced version of the Super Mario All-Stars version. But it has this border around it. But that's just the emulator. I mean, that can obviously be changed. I'm sure there will be more emulators for this. But Game Boy Advance also runs perfectly fine. But yeah, again, this Game Boy Advance does have that kind of border, but that's just the emulator, so it's possible that there are more emulators out there. I think this runs on Dingix, which is back in the day there was the Dingu kind of A320. That was the first kind of one of these types of device I certainly remember. Okay, so everything kind of runs there. We'll take a look now at PlayStation. Now, some people have said that the PlayStation is something that they've had issues with, perhaps just running kind of slow. I'm gonna load up some, see what they've got on here. Tekken 3 is the one that everyone says has run kind of slow. We'll load that up. I think this is what you would do. Yeah, it's a little bit different with running CD based games. And I am also awful at Tekken, so I'm probably about to get wrecked here. But yeah, you see there's a little bit of slowdown here with Tekken. So, could just be the game, could be the emulator. You can put on frame skip if you want. But as you can see, Tekken kind of runs a little bit slower. But let's try something else. Try Street Fighter. Street Fighter Alpha 3. And again, you can use this if you want, which some people probably will, but so yeah, Street Fighter runs just about perfect. So again, you're just depending on what game you run on PlayStation, you may run into issues. But that's just about it. So it'll handle just about everything else pretty flawlessly. Gotta say, for the $65 I spent, I think it's definitely pretty cool. Now, there are obviously a lot of these type of devices coming out right now. But I mean, I'm not being paid by this company or anything, certainly, to kind of review this, but I am certainly enjoying it. I think it was a pretty cool purchase. So just some more, just another look at this. I know there's a handful of people reviewing this on the internet, but perhaps maybe I showed something that they didn't, so you can kind of decide for yourself. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.